Hello friends, welcome aboard the Sleepy Fairy Tale Express. I'm the Red Mermaid. This train is a dream journey to fairy tale land. Have you all got your train tickets? Subscribe and hit the like button to always be able to ride. Close your eyes, prick up your ears, and listen in a comfortable position. Today's story is The Jungle Book. The jungle in the midst of summer only takes a breath after the scorching sun sets. During the day, the jungle is filled with burning heat and dazzling sunlight, but as the sun sets, a cool breeze begins to brush through the trees. The trees covered the sky like a giant green dome, and underneath, various plants and vines intertwined, resembling a vast green carpet. The sky, visible through the gaps between the leaves, gradually changed from golden to orange and then to a deep purple as darkness began to settle. At this moment, in a quiet cave, Father Wolf awoke from a deep sleep. The cave, nestled deep within the jungle, was perfectly insulated from external noise. His large yawn filled the cave, and his warm breath mixed with the cold air inside, creating a slight mist. I slept well. It's time to prepare for the hunt. His voice was low and deep, resonating as if the cave itself was echoing. The cave was very cozy and warm. The floor was covered with soft moss and dry twigs, and the walls bore the marks and scratches from old hunts. Mother Wolf slowly rose from her spot and approached Father Wolf. Her fur was soft and glossy, and her eyes held a warm and gentle light. "Oh, it's already evening. Children, are you ready?" Her soft voice was enough to awaken the wolf pups. The small wolf pups stretched as they rose one by one from their nest-like spots. Their small bodies were supple and flexible, and the sound of their tiny paws tapping the ground echoed in the cave. Mother Wolf looked at them with affectionate eyes, licking each one gently on the head or body. The wolf pups snuggled into her touch, feeling her love. Outside the cave, the evening air was cool. The breeze carried the scent of the forest, bringing the smells of various wild animals into the cave. The wind rustled the leaves softly, creating a sound like the jungle whispering as it wrapped up the day. All the creatures of the jungle were preparing for the night. Father Wolf led his family out of the cave for the hunt. His steps were quiet yet firm, and the family's footsteps were light and lively as they followed him. Standing at the cave entrance for a moment, he surveyed the surroundings and then nodded to signal his family to proceed. Mother Wolf and the pups followed him as they headed toward the hunting grounds. The sky grew darker, and stars began to appear one by one. Moonlight filtered through the leaves, casting a soft glow that looked like tiny fireflies dancing. The sounds of the jungle became more pronounced, the hoot of an owl, the playful cries of monkeys in the distance, and the rustling of leaves in the wind all came together to complete the night in the jungle. When Father Wolf stepped outside the cave, an unexpected sight awaited him. A A young boy, barely able to walk, stood right at the cave entrance. The boy looked about 2 or 3 years old. His short, soft hair was sun-kissed brown, and his large eyes were filled with curiosity. Despite his face being covered in small cuts and dirt, his gaze held a mysterious calm instead of fear. "Oh, who is this? What is a human child doing here?" Father Wolf could not hide his astonishment as he carefully observed the boy. The boy, unfazed, looked back at the wolf family. His small hand was clenched in a fist, which he had put into his mouth, and his clothes were tattered and worn, yet his young body seemed resilient. Father Wolf cautiously scanned the surroundings, wary of any potential danger. He sniffed the air sharply, trying to discern where the boy had come from. However, there was no distinctive scent around the boy, indicating that he had either been there for a long time or had walked a great distance alone. "Oh, this child is truly curious. Not a hair on his bare skin." Father Wolf gently approached the boy. His movements were smooth and careful, and his eyes showed a mixture of caution and curiosity. Father Wolf gently lifted the boy into the cave. Mother Wolf and the pups surrounded the boy with curious eyes, unable to take their gaze off the small human. Mother Wolf examined the boy cautiously. "Oh, he's nursing. This child is truly different from us." She gently licked his hand, trying to provide comfort. This small human child became a major interest for everyone in the cave. The wolf family looked at each other, wondering how to treat this new guest. After a moment of thought, Father Wolf nodded as if he had made a decision. He carefully placed the boy on the soft moss on one side of the cave and turned to Mother Wolf and the pups. "He could become part of our family. We must protect and care for him." Mother Wolf agreed with Father Wolf's words and looked at the boy warmly once again. Thus, the wolf family welcomed a new member. The cave remained quiet and peaceful, but now a new life had taken root there. This small boy, named Mowgli, became a member of the wolf family. As the wolf family welcomed their new member, Mowgli, a terrifying roar shattered the jungle's silence. Roar! Along with that sound, a massive tiger with fierce eyes appeared at the cave entrance. This tiger was none other than Shere Khan, the most feared creature in the jungle. Shere Khan's appearance was like that of a king standing in his domain. His body was massive and muscular, with golden and black stripes prominently displayed. His eyes glowed a sharp golden hue, filled with intense determination and a terrifying aura. His steps were silent yet exuded powerful energy. The sound of leaves and twigs crunching under his paws was overpowered by his imposing presence. "That human cub is mine. Give him to me now." Shere Khan's voice was low and menacing, his sharp teeth gleaming as his eyes focused on Mowgli. His breath was hot, and it mingled with the cool night air, dispersing in a mist. His tail swayed restlessly, indicating he was ready to strike at any moment. However, Father Wolf did not back down. "This is our home, Shere Khan. Whatever you want, it does not matter here. Your words have no power here." Father Wolf spoke firmly, staring straight into Shere Khan's eyes. His gaze held a strong determination to protect his family. Despite Father Wolf's resolute words, Shere Khan did not easily give up. "That child is prey I found first. It doesn't matter what you decide. You cannot keep him." Shere Khan moved his massive body forward, not yielding his claim. His claws scraped the ground restlessly, and a menacing growl continued to emanate from him. At that moment, Mother Wolf stepped forward. She was filled with the instinct to protect the child, and her eyes shone with strong determination. "This child is part of our family. It doesn't matter what you say. We will protect him." Her voice was soft but firm, and her gaze showed unwavering resolve. Shere Khan hesitated for a moment, but still did not give up. He roared again, showcasing his power, but the wolf family did not retreat. Eventually, Shere Khan turned his massive body and disappeared into the darkness, his eyes still filled with the determination not to give up on Mowgli. After Shere Khan finally retreated, the tense atmosphere in the cave turned into a warm welcome. Mother Wolf looked at Mowgli tenderly and said, "Don't worry, little one. From now on, you are part of our family." Her voice was soft and warm, and Mowgli felt reassured by her kindness. Father Wolf officially accepted Mowgli as a member of the wolf family. "Your name is now Mowgli. You are a brave child who will explore the jungle with us." Father Wolf gently nipped Mowgli's small hand as he called his name, and Mowgli felt the reality of becoming part of the family. He began his new life with the wolf family, feeling their love for the first time. Father Wolf and Mother Wolf cared for Mowgli as if he were their own pup. They taught him everything to ensure he could live safely and happily. Mowgli played, ran, and learned with his wolf siblings, gradually becoming more integrated into the wolf family. Every morning, Mowgli woke up with his wolf siblings and explored the jungle. The jungle was an endless playground for him. Climbing trees, swimming in the river, and encountering various animals filled him with excitement. He quickly learned the laws of the jungle and how to survive. Father Wolf taught Mowgli how to hunt. "Mowgli, hunting is the source of our life. Respect your prey and avoid unnecessary killing." Father Wolf taught him not only the skills of hunting, but also the importance of balance and respect in the jungle. Mowgli deeply absorbed Father Wolf's teachings, living in harmony with the jungle. Mother Wolf taught Mowgli the importance of family. "Mowgli, we must protect and care for each other. Family is the most precious thing to us." Her teachings deeply ingrained in Mowgli's heart. He cherished the time he spent with his wolf family, loving them dearly. Mowgli played, ran, and learned with his wolf brothers, gradually becoming more and more a part of the wolf family. The wolf brothers accepted Mowgli as one of their own, taking him along on hunts and jungle explorations. They shared their knowledge and experiences with Mowgli, and he learned a great deal from them. One day, Mowgli went deep into the jungle to hunt with Father Wolf. Father Wolf taught Mowgli the skills of hunting and the importance of respecting their prey. Following Father Wolf's teachings, Mowgli quietly held his breath and waited for the prey. He respected the prey and refrained from unnecessary killing, just as Father Wolf had instructed. Together, they completed the hunt and celebrated their successful return. Mowgli cherished every moment he spent with his wolf family. They laughed together, cried together, and protected and cared for each other. With the love and support of his wolf family, Mowgli grew stronger and wiser every day. Deep within the jungle, in the heart of a dense forest filled with ancient trees, the wolf pack held an important meeting. This was a sacred place where wolves had gathered for generations to make crucial decisions. The tree stood tall and majestic, seemingly holding centuries of history, and beneath them lay a carpet of soft moss and twigs. The meeting place resembled a natural amphitheater, perfect for the wolves to sit in a circle. The topic of this meeting was Mowgli, the little human child. Mowgli had been integrating well with the wolf family, learning the laws of the jungle, but not all wolves were ready to accept him. As the meeting began, the wolves gathered and started sharing their opinions. "That child is human, he is not like us wolves," a young wolf said, pointing at Mowgli with a raised voice. His voice was strong and clear, filled with suspicion. He believed Mowgli was not fit to be a member of the wolf pack. "Humans are different from us. Won't his presence disturb the order of the jungle?" However, the wise old bear Baloo stood up to defend Mowgli. Baloo had lived in the jungle for many years and had accumulated a great deal of wisdom. He believed in Mowgli's innocence and bravery. "But this little human has harmed none of us. He is different, but he can be with us," Baloo said, his voice gentle yet firm, carrying deep trust and confidence. Baloo's words brought a moment of silence among the wolves. They looked at each other, deep in thought. They worried that Mowgli's inclusion might disrupt the balance of the jungle, but they also respected his pure heart and courage. At that moment, the Black Panther Bagheera stepped forward with determination. It was clear he was resolved to protect Mowgli. His black fur glowed faintly under the moonlight, and his eyes shone with strong determination. "It would be a shame to kill this hairless little one. I will catch a bull to pay for his life," Bagheera declared, his voice powerful and resolute, his eyes reflecting his unyielding will. Bagheera's proposal made the wolves exchange glances. The tempting offer of bull meat began to sway their minds. They were hungry, and bull meat was a rare treat. Then, this child can be one of us, murmurs spread among the wolves. With most of them agreeing to Bagheera's proposal, Mowgli became the newest member of the wolf pack. The decision of the wolf pack brought a significant change to Mowgli's life. He was now officially a member of the wolf pack and could explore and learn the jungle alongside his wolf brothers. As a member of the wolf pack, Mowgli grew braver and wiser. At that moment, the Black Panther Bagheera stepped forward confidently. He seemed resolute in his decision to protect Mowgli. His black fur glowed softly under the moonlight, and his eyes sparkled with strong determination. Bagheera's presence commanded respect from the wolf pack. He was a being of both strength and wisdom, not easily dismissed by any creature in the jungle. Bagheera moved slowly towards the center of the wolf pack. His steps were quiet yet intense, and the wolves, overwhelmed by his majesty, waited silently for him to speak. He began in a deep voice, "It is a shame to kill this hairless little one. I will catch a bull to pay for his life." Bagheera's voice was strong and filled with conviction, his eyes reflecting his unwavering will. The wolf pack was astonished at Bagheera's words. A bull was a rare and precious offering, making his proposal quite extraordinary. Bagheera continued, "This child deserves our protection. He possesses courage and purity and has the ability to live among us in the jungle." His voice grew more resolute, and the wolves were moved by his determination. A murmur spread among the wolves as they seriously considered Bagheera's proposal. One wolf cautiously asked, "Bagheera, can you really catch a bull?" His voice was filled with doubt and caution. Bagheera looked straight at the wolf and answered, "Yes. I will catch a bull and offer it as the price for this child's life." His words were unwavering, and the wolves began to agree with his conviction. The leader of the wolf pack pondered for a moment and then made a decision. "Then, this child can be one of us," he said quietly but firmly, securing the agreement of the wolf pack. Following Bagheera's proposal, Mowgli became the new member of the wolf pack. Bagheera immediately prepared for the bull hunt. He led a few wolves into the depths of the jungle. Under Bagheera's guidance, they quietly prepared for the hunt, planning everything perfectly. Bagheera moved swiftly and silently through the forest, his movements precise and soundless. Eventually, they found a bull. Bagheera observed the bull with keen eyes, waiting for the perfect moment. He signaled to the wolves, and they moved in unison. Under Bagheera's leadership, they successfully hunted the bull. Despite being a massive beast, the bull was ultimately brought down by Bagheera and the wolves working together. Bagheera brought the bull back to the wolf pack. His body was stained with blood, but his eyes shone with triumph. Presenting the bull to the wolf pack, he said, "Here it is. The price for this child's life." His voice was strong and confident, and the wolves admired his determination and skill. Bagheera's proposal and actions brought a new life to Mowgli. He was now officially a member of the wolf pack, able to explore and learn the jungle with his wolf brothers. Living among them, Mowgli came to understand and experience the life of the jungle more deeply. With Mowgli now part of the wolf pack, his education in jungle life began in earnest. Father Wolf woke Mowgli early every morning to teach him the laws of the jungle and survival skills. "Mowgli, to survive in the jungle, you must remember these laws," Father Wolf said, guiding him firmly yet gently. The jungle mornings were fresh and invigorating. Dew-covered leaves sparkled in the light, and the air was clear and cool. Father Wolf started with the basics of the jungle's laws. The first law was silence and patience. He taught Mowgli how to walk like a hunter, to step quietly, and read the wind. Mowgli concentrated on Father Wolf's words, trying to mimic his every move. Next, Father Wolf taught Mowgli to distinguish the various sounds of the jungle. The jungle was filled with a constant symphony of sounds. The rustling leaves in the wind, the distant chirping of birds, and the footsteps of animals, each sound had its meaning. "Mowgli, these sounds are the language of our jungle friends. You must listen and understand them," Father Wolf said, making Mowgli close his eyes and focus on listening. Though difficult at first, Mowgli soon began to identify more and more sounds. Father Wolf's teachings didn't stop at theory. He walked through the jungle with Mowgli, letting him experience things firsthand. They traversed trees and vines, following the tracks of various animals. Father Wolf taught Mowgli how to read animal footprints and track their traces. Mowgli followed his lead, gradually accumulating jungle wisdom. The wise old bear Baloo also joined Mowgli's education. Baloo taught Mowgli the languages of the jungle. Mimicking various animal sounds, Baloo explained their meanings. Patient and kind, Baloo repeated explanations until Mowgli understood. "These sounds are the words of our jungle friends. By understanding their language, you can bond better with them," Baloo said. Mowgli diligently followed Baloo's teachings, learning the language of jungle creatures. Bagheera showed Mowgli how to climb trees, enhancing his agility. With his sleek movements, Bagheera climbed and descended trees, teaching Mowgli to feel the strength of each branch as he climbed. "To climb high, you must feel the strength of each branch," Bagheera instructed. His lessons were invaluable to Mowgli, who became more agile and quick as he followed Bagheera up the trees. Mowgli's education was not just about survival skills, but also understanding the philosophy and wisdom of the jungle. He learned the way of life in the jungle, finding his place within it. Mowgli respected and learned from the wisdom and experiences of Father Wolf, Baloo, and Bagheera. As time passed, Mowgli grew remarkably. His body became stronger, and his movements became more agile. He learned to walk silently, leap through the trees freely, and even swim skillfully to catch fish. Mowgli woke early every morning to explore the jungle with Father Wolf. His eyes grew sharper, and his ears more sensitive. He mastered distinguishing the sounds and scents of the jungle. Father Wolf watched Mowgli's progress with pride. One day, Mowgli went hunting with Father Wolf. They walked quietly through the forest, searching for prey. Mowgli moved silently, reading the wind and listening to the surrounding sounds, following the tracks of their prey, and predicting their movements. They successfully hunted, and Mowgli proved his ability. "See, I can do it too!" Mowgli exclaimed with confidence. Father Wolf gently patted his head and said, "Well done, Mowgli. You are now a hunter like us." Mowgli also showed remarkable progress in climbing trees. Guided by Bagheera, he moved freely in the trees, perfecting his skill of feeling each branch's strength. He observed the jungle from high vantage points, quickly moving between trees with increased agility and speed. Mowgli spent a lot of time with Baloo, who taught him the jungle's language and culture. Together, they met various jungle animals, learning their languages and habits. Baloo taught Mowgli to communicate with jungle friends, understanding and respecting their language. Mowgli grew closer to the jungle inhabitants through Baloo's lessons. Mowgli also excelled in the water, mastering the skill of catching fish while swimming freely in the river. His body moved effortlessly underwater, following the fish's movements. His eyes gleamed sharply even underwater, and his hands quickly and precisely caught fish. His skills were increasingly recognized by other jungle animals. Mowgli grew to love his new life and jungle friends. His adventurous spirit and abilities gained recognition from other jungle inhabitants. Proud of being a part of the jungle, Mowgli cherished the happy times spent with his family and friends. Years passed, and Mowgli firmly established his place in the jungle. He had fully integrated with the wolf pack and become accustomed to life in the jungle. But peace did not last. One day, Shere Khan reappeared. The morning began like any other. Mowgli and Father Wolf were out exploring the jungle, preparing for a hunt. They quietly walked through the forest, detecting various scents and sounds. But then, a terrifying roar broke the jungle's silence. Roar! The sound filled every creature in the jungle with fear. Shere Khan had returned. Mowgli and Father Wolf tensed up, looking towards the direction of the sound. Shere Khan's roars grew closer, and his massive silhouette began to appear through the branches. Shere Khan revealed his huge body as he walked into the clearing where the wolf pack was gathered. His golden eyes were filled with anger and vengeance. "Hand over the human cub to me. Give him to me, and I'll share some of my prey with you," Shere Khan's voice was low and menacing, his sharp teeth gleaming. His body was muscular, and his steps exuded immense power. Confident in his dominion over the jungle, he threatened the wolf pack. Tension ran high among the wolves. Some younger wolves were intimidated by Shere Khan's threat and began seriously considering his offer. They thought that accepting Shere Khan's proposal and handing over Mowgli would guarantee their safety. However, there were also wolves who truly regarded Mowgli as family. "No, Mowgli is our brother. We cannot abandon him," one of them said bravely. His voice was resolute, and his eyes held strong determination. Mowgli was touched by their words, once again feeling like a true member of the wolf family. Mowgli looked Shere Khan straight in the eyes, refusing to back down from his threat. Proud of being part of the jungle, he stood firm in his decision not to yield to Shere Khan. His eyes shone with strong will and determination instead of fear. Father Wolf, the leader of the wolf pack, firmly rejected Shere Khan's proposal. "We will protect Mowgli. We cannot hand him over," he declared, his voice strong and assured, giving the wolf pack courage. Despite Shere Khan's threats, the wolf pack did not back down. Shere Khan hesitated momentarily at the wolf pack's resolve, but soon resumed his menacing stance. His eyes still burned with obsession for Mowgli. "The human cub is mine. I will never give up." Shere Khan's voice was cold and determined. At that moment, a young wolf stepped forward courageously, saying, "We will fight together. Shere Khan, no matter what you want, we will never back down." His voice was powerful, and his eyes showed no fear. The wolf pack stood with him, facing Shere Khan with resolute determination. Shere Khan hesitated once more, but the determination in his eyes remained fixed on Mowgli. "The human cub is mine. I will never give up," he repeated, his voice cold and resolute. Ultimately, Shere Khan realized his plan had failed and turned his massive body, disappearing into the darkness. However, his eyes still held the determination to claim Mowgli. The wolf pack watched his retreat with relief, but remained vigilant. The wolf pack's courage and unity in the face of Shere Khan's threat further solidified Mowgli's place among them. Mowgli felt deeply connected to his wolf family, knowing they would stand by him no matter what challenges lay ahead. Shere Khan's proposal tempted some of the younger wolves. They believed that protecting Mowgli violated the laws of the jungle and that Shere Khan's threats could not be ignored. "That child is a human. He has nothing to do with us. We should either hand him over to Shere Khan or send him back to the human world," one of the young wolves shouted. His voice was filled with anxiety and fear, and his eyes showed hesitation. Other young wolves began to agree with him. They believed that Shere Khan's offer was the only way to ensure their safety. Tension began to rise within the wolf pack. Some argued that Mowgli should be protected, while others insisted he be handed over to Shere Khan. However, there were wolves who truly considered Mowgli as family. They couldn't imagine betraying him. "No, Mowgli is our brother. We cannot abandon him," they declared firmly, their eyes full of strong determination. They were ready to make any sacrifice to protect Mowgli. The leader of the wolf pack, Father Wolf, was deeply troubled. He wanted to protect Mowgli, but also had to consider the safety of the pack. His mind was conflicted, but he knew he had to make a decision. Taking a deep breath, he spoke quietly to the pack, "We must decide together. Mowgli is part of our family, but our safety is also important." His voice was low and resolute, and the pack focused on his words. As the conflict among the wolves grew, a fierce debate ensued. Mowgli watched the divided pack with a heavy heart. He did not want his wolf family to be in conflict because of him. His eyes were filled with sadness and guilt. How could this situation be resolved? What choice would Mowgli make? The pack's meeting continued late into the night. As the moonlight softly illuminated the jungle and the stars twinkled in the sky, the wolves kept debating. They listened to each other's opinions, trying to make the best decision. But reaching a consensus was not easy. Finally, Father Wolf made a decision. "We will protect Mowgli. He is a member of our family, and we will keep him safe," he declared firmly, his voice strong and confident, giving the pack courage. However, no sooner had he finished speaking than a few young wolves expressed their discontent. They still believed handing Mowgli over to Shere Khan was the best solution. Despite Father Wolf's decision, the conflict within the pack was not easily resolved. They tried to respect each other's opinions, but the tension continued to deepen. Mowgli watched all of this, searching for a way to resolve the situation. As the conflict within the wolf pack deepened, Mowgli made a critical decision. Realizing that a sacrifice was necessary for his family, he reached a conclusion after much contemplation. "Friends, if this conflict is because of me, I will leave alone," Mowgli said calmly but firmly, tears welling up in his eyes for the first time. "I wanted to stay with you all forever, but now it seems impossible." The wolf pack fell silent at Mowgli's words. His decision weighed heavily on everyone's hearts. The wolves looked at each other, realizing they had to accept his choice. Mowgli wiped his tears, trying not to regret his decision. He believed leaving to protect his wolf family was the right thing to do. With memories of his wolf family etched deeply in his heart, Mowgli left the cave. His heart was heavy, and his steps were slow. As he left, the thought that he might never see his beloved family and friends again pained him. Yet, he did not waver in his decision. Outside the cave, the night was softly glowing. The moonlight filtered through the leaves, making the jungle appear calm and peaceful. But Mowgli's heart was filled with confusion and sorrow. Believing that leaving was the best choice, he walked into the jungle. Mowgli walked all day, leaving the jungle behind. His heart was heavy, and his steps were slow. The thought that he might never see his beloved family and friends again pained him. But he did not waver in his decision, believing that leaving was the best choice for the wolf pack. Mowgli walked all day through the jungle. His feet were tired, and his heart was heavy. Reflecting on why he had to leave his wolf family, he imagined the new life ahead. By dusk, he finally reached the human village. The village was a completely different world from the jungle. Neat huts lined up in order, and people bustled about between them. As soon as Mowgli arrived, the villagers' eyes focused on him. "What is that? A person or a beast?" Their voices were filled with shock and curiosity. Mowgli's body was covered in wounds, his skin tanned dark by the jungle sun. His clothes were old and torn, and his hair was tangled. Though his eyes still held the wildness of the jungle, they also showed deep sadness and fatigue. "Don't worry, this child seems to have lived with wolves," said an elderly man, calming the villagers. His voice was gentle and warm, and people listened to him. From that day on, Mowgli began living with the richest woman in the village, Auntie Mesua. Auntie Mesua accepted Mowgli as her own child and provided him with everything he needed. She dressed him in warm clothes, fed him delicious food, and treated his wounds. Auntie Mesua's house was spacious and comfortable, and her warm-hearted nature was a great comfort to Mowgli. It was a new environment and a new beginning. At first, Mowgli struggled to adapt to the way people lived. His body was still accustomed to the instincts of the wild, and the rules and manners of humans were unfamiliar to him. However, thanks to Auntie Mesua's patience and love, Mowgli gradually began to get used to human life. Mowgli started exploring the village with Auntie Mesua, meeting people and learning their culture. He learned the language and customs of the people, slowly getting used to communicating with them. Initially wary of Mowgli, the villagers began to accept him as they got to know his pure and kind heart. As he started his new life in Auntie Mesua's house, Mowgli tried hard to fit in with the people. Though he still missed the jungle, he was determined to become a part of the human world. To become a real person, I must learn the language and customs of these people, he thought. Following Auntie Mesua's teachings diligently, Mowgli began to learn how to live as one of them. Auntie Mesua taught Mowgli the human language and culture. He learned how to dress, dining etiquette, and even farming. "This is how you do it, Mowgli. Let's take it slow," she encouraged him warmly. Her words were a great comfort to Mowgli. He woke up early every morning to help Auntie Mesua with chores and spent time with the villagers, gradually getting used to their way of life. As Mowgli began his new life at Auntie Messua's house, he worked hard to adapt to the people around him. Although he still missed the jungle, he decided to become part of the human world. To become a real person, I must learn the language and customs of these people, he thought. Following Auntie Messua's teachings diligently, Mowgli began to adapt to his new life. Auntie Messua taught Mowgli the human language and culture. With a soft and patient voice, she explained everything in detail, from dressing to dining etiquette and household chores to farming. She understood the parts Mowgli struggled with and helped him learn at his own pace. "This is how you do it, Mowgli. Let's take it slow," she encouraged him warmly. Her kind encouragement was a great strength to Mowgli. Following Auntie Messua's teachings, Mowgli woke up early every morning to help with household chores and work on the farm. At first, he was clumsy, but he gradually became more adept. His hands grew calloused, and his body became stronger from the labor. Auntie Messua watched Mowgli's efforts with pride as he adapted to human life. Initially wary of Mowgli, the villagers began to acknowledge his diligence and kindness. Mowgli often volunteered to help the villagers. He chopped wood, fetched water, and took care of crops. His dedicated attitude helped him earn the villagers' trust. "Mowgli, thank you for helping us," the villagers expressed their gratitude. Mowgli also became friends with the village children. Though they initially found him strange, they were fascinated by his amazing stories and the skills he had learned in the jungle. Mowgli told them about the jungle animals and taught them how to climb trees and simple hunting techniques. The children enjoyed his stories and loved spending time with him. "Mowgli, you're amazing. We want to hear more of your stories," their words brought great joy to Mowgli. As Mowgli became more accustomed to village life, he developed relationships with the people. He learned the rules and manners of the human world while retaining the wildness of the jungle. Although he still missed the jungle, he decided to embrace his new life. Auntie Messua taught Mowgli to read and write by reading books to him. Initially finding it difficult, Mowgli gradually learned to read and write thanks to Auntie Messua's patient teaching. Through books, he discovered new worlds and understood the importance of knowledge. "Mowgli, learning to read will help you learn many things." Auntie Messua's words inspired him greatly. Mowgli compared what he learned about human life with what he knew from the jungle. He realized that while humans and animals lived differently, they all worked hard to survive. He respected the cooperation and wisdom of people and cherished his life among them. Mowgli always sought ways to help the villagers, driven by a strong desire to assist others. While his good deeds gradually gained recognition among the villagers, his actions didn't always receive positive reactions. One day, Mowgli found a donkey stuck in the mud. The donkey struggled to free itself, but only sank deeper. Hearing its distressed cries, Mowgli ran to its aid. He tied a rope around the donkey and pulled with all his might. His muscles tensed, and sweat trickled down his forehead. A few villagers passing by stopped to watch. They understood his intent, but worried his method was too dangerous. Mowgli continued pulling the rope, determined to free the donkey from the mud. Eventually, his efforts paid off, and the donkey was freed. Mowgli, drenched in sweat, patted the donkey reassuringly. The donkey responded gratefully, softly braying. However, the villagers didn't fully understand his actions. They thought Mowgli's behavior was reckless and dangerous. "It's better not to do such things." "It's not our job, Mowgli," one villager said, approaching him with a voice mixed with concern and caution. Mowgli was confused by their reactions. He couldn't understand why his efforts to help were seen as wrong. "Why don't they want me to help?" His heart was filled with confusion and sadness. He tried to understand why his actions were criticized, but found it challenging. A few days later, Mowgli saw a peddler's cart broken down. He immediately offered his help. Using sticks and ropes, he fixed the cart's wheel. The peddler smiled gratefully at his assistance. However, other villagers viewed his actions as odd. They couldn't understand why he was so eager to help others recklessly. Mowgli became increasingly perplexed by the villagers' reactions. His kind heart and actions were often misunderstood and sometimes even criticized. Why do people look down on helping animals or servants? Mowgli began to ponder the complex rules and values of human society. He realized that his desire to help and the spirit of solidarity and cooperation he learned in the jungle often led to misunderstandings and problems here. In the jungle, everyone helps each other to survive. Why is it so different here? Mowgli delved deeper into his thoughts, trying to find his place. Mowgli felt increasingly stifled by life in the village. His kind heart and actions were often misunderstood and sometimes even criticized. Why do people look down on helping animals or servants? He began to ponder the complex rules and values of human society. One evening, Mowgli sat on a small hill outside the village, watching the sunset. The beauty of the sunset reminded him of the free and peaceful days in the jungle. In the jungle, everyone helps each other to survive. Why is it so different here? He thought deeply about his place and role in human society. Mowgli recalled his conversations with Auntie Mesua. She always told him to be patient and understanding. However, people's attitudes hurt him deeply. He couldn't understand why his actions were seen as wrong. He felt confused between his identity and values. To clear his mind, Mowgli went into the jungle. Walking quietly among the trees, he took in the sounds and smells of the jungle. The jungle still brought him comfort and peace. but he felt he was no longer entirely a part of it. He was torn between human society and the jungle. Mowgli remembered his times in the jungle. The moments hunting with Father Wolf, learning the jungle's language with Baloo, and playing in the trees with Bagheera were vivid in his memory. But he knew he couldn't return to those days. Mowgli struggled deeply with finding his place. He sought balance between his values and the rules of human society. He aimed to retain the spirit of solidarity and cooperation from the jungle while being accepted in human society. Through conversations with Auntie Mesua, Mowgli began to understand. She told him, "Mowgli, people sometimes fear what is unfamiliar. But if you keep showing kindness and understanding, they will eventually come to understand and accept you." Her words brought him great comfort. Mowgli realized what he needed to do. He decided to embrace life in human society while upholding the values of the jungle in his way. He resolved to show kindness and understanding, hoping that people would come to accept and understand him. One day, Mowgli was reunited with his wolf brother, whom he hadn't seen for a long time. Since Mowgli came to the village, his wolf brother had always watched over him from the shadows. "Mowgli, it's so good to see you," his wolf brother greeted him warmly. Their reunion brought Mowgli great comfort and strength. It was an ordinary day when Mowgli was walking around the village outskirts. He walked along a small forest path outside the village, where the trees shaded him from the sun, providing a cool and peaceful feeling. Here, Mowgli often found peace, inhaling the familiar scent of the jungle. Suddenly, he heard a familiar howl. Mowgli turned towards the sound. There, in the dim light, he saw two glowing eyes. They belonged to his wolf brother. The wolf approached Mowgli with a joyful howl. His body was still strong and majestic, and his eyes held deep affection for Mowgli. "Mowgli, it's so good to see you," the wolf brother greeted Mowgli with a gentle lick on the face. Mowgli, filled with emotion and joy, looked at his wolf brother. "It's so good to see you too, brother," Mowgli said, hugging the wolf's neck, tears streaming down his face. His tears were a mix of joy and sorrow. The wolf brother told Mowgli about life in the jungle. The wolf pack and family were doing well, and he often lingered around to watch over Mowgli because he missed him. Listening to his brother's story, Mowgli felt connected to the jungle again. The reunion gave him great comfort and strength. The wolf brother asked Mowgli about his life in the human village. Mowgli shared his struggles and efforts to adapt to his new life. He spoke candidly about his confusion and sadness. The wolf brother listened quietly, trying to understand his struggles. The wolf brother reassured Mowgli, "Mowgli, you are always part of our family. No matter where you are, we love and support you." His words were a great comfort to Mowgli, making his heart feel lighter. He resolved not to lose his connection with his jungle family while accepting life in the human world. They walked through the darkening forest, sharing old stories. Mowgli realized how precious his time with his wolf brother was. The reunion reaffirmed his identity and values. "I'm so glad we met again, brother," Mowgli said sincerely, looking into his wolf brother's warm eyes. The reunion gave Mowgli the strength to face future trials. Through the meeting, he solidified his identity and values. Mowgli decided to continue his life in the village while maintaining the spirit of solidarity and cooperation he learned in the jungle. Mowgli's wolf brother brought urgent news. "Shere Khan is hiding near this place. He's still looking for you." Mowgli wasn't surprised by the news. Instead, he responded calmly, "Don't worry. I'm ready. This time, I'll go after Shere Khan." Mowgli and his wolf brother began to strategize. Mowgli knew he was no longer a child. He did not fear Shere Khan and was prepared to face his threat. His wolf brother detailed Shere Khan's location and the areas he frequently roamed. They decided to track him down and restore peace to the jungle. They waited until nightfall. As darkness fell and the jungle grew quiet, they moved cautiously. Mowgli sharpened his senses, following Shere Khan's trail. His wolf brother walked silently beside him, observing his every move. They followed Shere Khan's scent deep into the forest. In the darkness, they spotted Shere Khan's shadow. The tiger moved stealthily, hiding his massive body in the shadows. His eyes glowed sharply, and his movements were quiet yet menacing. Mowgli and his wolf brother moved to encircle Shere Khan. Suddenly, Shere Khan sensed their presence and roared. Roar! His voice shook the entire jungle, and his eyes were filled with rage. He spotted Mowgli and his wolf brother and began approaching them. Mowgli and his wolf brother stood their ground, determined to fight Shere Khan's threat. Mowgli approached Shere Khan quietly. His eyes shone with determination and courage instead of fear. Proud of being a part of the jungle, he resolved not to back down. His wolf brother stood ready to assist him at any moment. Mowgli shouted at Shere Khan, "Shere Khan, you can no longer threaten me. I will not yield to you." His voice was strong and confident. Shere Khan hesitated briefly at his words, but soon resumed his menacing approach, his eyes still fixated on Mowgli. The battle began fiercely. Mowgli and his wolf brother dodged Shere Khan's attacks, trying to find his weakness. Shere Khan attacked with powerful claws and sharp teeth, but Mowgli and his wolf brother never backed down. They worked together to confront Shere Khan. The fight continued throughout the night. Mowgli and his wolf brother fought tirelessly, their bodies covered in wounds, but they did not give up. Mowgli dodged Shere Khan's attacks, searching for his weakness, while his wolf brother protected him. Their cooperation and courage gradually cornered Shere Khan. Finally, Mowgli found Shere Khan's weakness. He attacked Shere Khan's leg, bringing him down. Shere Khan roared in pain as he fell. Mowgli and his wolf brother felt the threat lifting. They had defeated Shere Khan and restored peace to the jungle. Mowgli and his wolf brother carefully surveyed the ravine. Shere Khan hid his massive body, but his powerful presence was unmistakable even in the darkness. They held their breath, observing Shere Khan's movements with determination and tension in their eyes. Then, Shere Khan emerged from his hiding spot. His golden eyes glowed in the darkness, filled with anger and vengeance. Slowly, he approached Mowgli and his wolf brother, his massive body swaying. His claws scratched the ground, producing a sharp sound, and his teeth gleamed menacingly. Mowgli and his wolf brother prepared for his attack, watching his every move. Suddenly, Shere Khan lunged at them with incredible speed, his massive body soaring towards Mowgli. They quickly dodged, avoiding his attack. The battle was intense. Shere Khan attacked with his powerful claws and teeth, but Mowgli and his wolf brother never backed down. Mowgli used all his senses to evade Shere Khan's attacks, focusing on finding his weakness. His wolf brother protected him, blocking Shere Khan's assaults. Analyzing Shere Khan's movements, Mowgli discovered his right leg was weak. There was an old wound, and Shere Khan couldn't use it properly. Mowgli decided to exploit this weakness. Mowgli charged at Shere Khan's right leg, moving quickly and agilely to avoid his attacks. He used all his strength to attack Shere Khan's leg. Shere Khan roared in pain as he fell. His massive body hit the ground, kicking up dust. Suddenly, a herd of buffaloes, agitated by Shere Khan's painful roars, stampeded towards him. Mowgli and his wolf brother quickly dodged out of the way. In the chaos, Shere Khan was trampled by the enraged buffaloes. Ultimately, Shere Khan's arrogance and vengeance led to his demise under the hooves of the buffalo herd. Cautiously, Mowgli skinned Shere Khan. His body was covered in blood and dirt, but his eyes shone with triumph. This moment symbolized his courage and wisdom in the jungle. Defeating Shere Khan was a significant victory for Mowgli. Mowgli draped Shere Khan's skin over his shoulder and returned with his wolf brother. They celebrated their victory as they headed back to the jungle. Mowgli reaffirmed his pride in being a part of the jungle, his courage and wisdom shining brightly. His wolf brother watched over him, celebrating his victory. The villagers reacted with astonishment and fear upon seeing Mowgli's heroic act of skinning Shere Khan. As they saw him returning with the massive tiger skin draped over his shoulder, they looked at him with a mix of awe and terror. Arriving at the village center, Mowgli briefly explained his adventure and the battle with Shere Khan. His body was covered in the marks of the fight, and his blood-soaked appearance left a strong impression on the villagers. They listened to his story with a mix of surprise and disbelief. "That's the buffalo herd's catch. The skin belongs to everyone, so hand it over," a hunter shouted, his voice filled with envy and jealousy. However, Mowgli's wolf brother growled protectively at the hunter. The threatening stance of the wolf made the hunter step back in fear. "Oh my, the wolf is attacking people!" The hunter fled in terror, throwing the village into chaos. This incident only fueled the villagers' fear and distrust of Mowgli. Mowgli felt disappointed and saddened by their reactions. He wanted to convey that he had fought to protect the villagers, but their response only further isolated him. He realized that despite his efforts to be accepted in the human world, he was still seen as different. Auntie Mesua comforted Mowgli, holding him warmly. "Mowgli, you are brave and special. People may take time, but they will eventually understand and accept you." Her words brought great comfort to Mowgli, but his heart still held deep sorrow. Mowgli tried to explain his actions to the villagers, but their fear and distress did not easily dissipate. He put in more effort to bridge the gap, but their reactions remained cold. His good deeds and courage were not properly recognized and instead led to more misunderstandings. When Mowgli and his wolf brother returned to the village, the atmosphere was frosty. News of Mowgli skinning Shere Khan had spread quickly among the villagers, stirring up fear and suspicion. They debated whether Mowgli was human or beast, and his abilities and courage only made them more uneasy. "You're a wolf cub. Get out of here. Go back to the jungle," a man from the village shouted, his eyes filled with fear and anger. Other villagers joined in, rejecting Mowgli. "I saw it with my own eyes. He's not human. He used magic to kill the tiger," another villager claimed, thinking Mowgli had used sorcery to defeat Shere Khan, causing them to fear him even more. Gripped by fear and distrust, the villagers blamed Mowgli. They believed he would bring danger to the village and saw his presence as a threat. "First they chased me away as a human, and now they're chasing me away as a wolf." Mowgli felt heartbroken, but finally said to his wolf brother, "Brother, let's go back to the jungle." Auntie Mesua tried to protect Mowgli, but she couldn't stop the villagers' intense reactions. She spoke through her tears, "Mowgli, you are still part of our family. Wherever you are, we will always love you." Her words provided great comfort to Mowgli, but his heart was still heavy with sorrow. Deciding to part ways with the villagers, Mowgli left quietly. Tears filled his eyes, and his heart was weighed down. He had tried to be accepted in the human world, but realized he had to return to the jungle. He bid a final farewell to Auntie Mesua, finding solace in her warm embrace. His wolf brother silently followed, staying by Mowgli's side to show he wasn't alone. As they walked back to the jungle, they prepared for a new beginning. Mowgli continued to ponder where he belonged between the human world and the jungle. However, he believed that with his wolf brother, he could overcome any difficulty. As Mowgli was about to leave the village, a woman rushed out from among the villagers. It was Auntie Mesua. "No, Mowgli, I believe in you. You're always one of us," she cried out desperately, tears filling her eyes. She ran to Mowgli and hugged him tightly. Mowgli was momentarily speechless in Auntie Mesua's warm embrace. "Thank you, Auntie Mesua. Even if I go back to the jungle, I won't harm people," he said, his voice thin and trembling but filled with resolve. Auntie Mesua gently stroked his face, saying, "I believe in you, Mowgli. You will always be part of our family." Her words brought Mowgli great comfort and courage. The villagers were surprised by Auntie Mesua's actions, but were silenced by her determination and love. She protected Mowgli, believing in his goodness and courage. Her trust and love gave Mowgli great strength. Auntie Mesua gave Mowgli a small pouch as a parting gift. "Use this when you need it," she said warmly and softly. Mowgli took the pouch and nodded, deeply appreciating her gesture and keeping her love and trust in his heart. Bidding farewell to Auntie Mesua, Mowgli set off toward the jungle. Though his heart was still heavy with sadness, Auntie Mesua's trust and love provided him with great comfort. He felt reassured that he was loved no matter where he belonged. "Goodbye," Mowgli said for the last time and walked towards the jungle. Though his steps were heavy and his mind troubled, he moved forward, remembering Auntie Mesua's love and trust. He believed he could make a new start in the jungle. Mowgli returned to the jungle with Shere Khan's skin. The wolves who witnessed his return surrounded him with reverent eyes. The massive tiger skin draped over his shoulder symbolized his courage and victory. As expected, "Mowgli, our brave Mowgli," the wolves exclaimed, unable to hide their excitement and joy as they welcomed him. Mowgli returned to the cave with his wolf brothers. The cave felt both familiar and slightly different to him now. The cold air inside gave him a sense of relief, feeling like he was home, while the warm gaze of his wolf brothers made him feel the love of a welcoming family. The wolves praised Mowgli's bravery and were eager to hear his story. Sitting quietly, Mowgli recounted his adventure and the battle with Shere Khan in detail. His voice was calm yet intense, and the wolves were engrossed in his tale. When he finished, the wolves were deeply moved by his courage and wisdom. Father Wolf, the leader of the pack, approached Mowgli and said, "Mowgli, you are truly one of us. You are part of our family, and we are proud of you." His voice was deep and warm, and Mowgli found great comfort in his words. Looking into Father Wolf's eyes, Mowgli nodded. "Thank you, Father. I am also proud of all of you." Mowgli began his new life in the jungle, hunting with his wolf brothers. He relearned the laws of the jungle and honed his skills further. Exploring the jungle with his wolf brothers, he enjoyed new adventures. Mowgli loved his life as a member of the jungle, sharing all he had learned with his wolf brothers. Through his life in the jungle, Mowgli found where he truly belonged. He had struggled between the human world and the jungle, but ultimately, he found his identity. Living with his wolf family, he found his place and became a respected figure in the jungle through his courage and wisdom. Proud of his life as a member of the jungle, Mowgli embraced his new life. He understood and respected the values of both the human world and the jungle, becoming a bridge between the two worlds. Living with his wolf brothers, he continued to embark on new adventures. His life continued deep in the jungle, and his story would forever be remembered by all its creatures. Mowgli became a legend in both the jungle and the human world, connecting them with his courage and love. Mowgli was spending peaceful days with his wolf family. However, strange things began happening deep within the jungle. Animals were disappearing, and incidents were disrupting the jungle's peace. Mowgli decided to investigate these events. One morning, Mowgli spoke to his wolf brothers as he left the cave. "Something's wrong. Strange things are happening in the jungle. I'm going to investigate." His wolf brothers respected his decision and urged him to be careful. Mowgli headed into the depths of the jungle. The deep jungle was dark and mysterious. The trees were enormous and dense, with vines intertwining everywhere. Mowgli cautiously advanced, surveying his surroundings. He listened to the sounds and scents around him, searching for unusual traces. His footsteps were quiet yet deliberate. Mowgli found traces of the missing animals deep within the jungle. He followed their tracks and strange signs, tracking where they had disappeared. The traces he found were unlike anything in the jungle's laws. As he ventured deeper, he began to feel an odd sensation. At one point, he discovered a mysterious cave deep in the jungle. The cave entrance was covered by a massive rock, and a strange light emanated from within. Mowgli cautiously entered the cave. Inside, it was dark and cold, but an astonishing sight unfolded before him. The cave walls were covered with ancient murals depicting the history and secrets of the jungle. Mowgli studied the murals, starting to understand the jungle's history. He learned that a powerful force was hidden to protect the jungle. This force was contained in an ancient artifact, and Mowgli resolved to find it. Through the cave murals, Mowgli discovered the ancient secret. The murals were composed of several scenes, each intricately drawn. The first scene depicted the creation and beginnings of the jungle. It showed immense trees, flowing rivers, and various animals living peacefully. Mowgli thought of the peaceful times of the jungle as he looked at this scene. The second scene contained a warning about a threat to the jungle. This threat was depicted as a demonic figure with a massive body, sharp teeth, and fiery eyes. It destroyed the jungle's peace and terrorized the animals. Mowgli connected this image to the recent strange events in the jungle. The third scene told the story of the jungle guardians who used ancient power to defeat the demon. These guardians represented animals from different parts of the jungle, working together to fight the demon. They held ancient artifacts in their hands, which they used to seal the demon. Mowgli realized that these artifacts were hidden somewhere in the jungle. The final scene described the location of the artifact and the various defenses guarding it. The artifact was hidden in a mysterious temple in the jungle's heart, protected by traps and puzzles. Wisdom and courage were required to find it. Mowgli clearly understood what he had to do. Leaving the cave, Mowgli made up his mind. I will find this artifact and protect the jungle. His voice was filled with determination. He immediately returned to his wolf brothers and explained what he had discovered. They agreed with his decision and were ready to help him. After learning the ancient secret from the cave murals, Mowgli followed the strange light deeper into the cave. The cave grew darker and colder, and a chill brushed his skin. He lit a small torch to light his way, carefully placing his steps. All his senses were on high alert, missing no small sound. The cave was a complex maze. Mowgli retraced the clues from the murals to find the correct path. Various drawings and symbols were etched on the walls, some holding ancient meanings. Mowgli deciphered these symbols, moving further into the depths. When he reached the cave's deepest part, he found a massive rock blocking his way. The rock looked like a door, covered with ancient symbols. Remembering the clues from the murals, Mowgli figured out how to move the rock. He discovered a small indentation next to it and pushed it to slide the rock aside. As the rock opened, a stunning sight unfolded before him. The cave was filled with mysterious light, and at its center lay the ancient artifact. The artifact glowed with a living light, emanating powerful energy. Approaching the artifact, Mowgli felt a mix of awe and fear. The artifact was made of ancient stone, intricately carved with complex patterns. Mowgli held the artifact, feeling the powerful force within. The energy from the artifact sent a shiver through his body. He realized that this artifact held the power to protect the jungle's peace. Mowgli left the cave with the artifact. Showing it to his wolf brothers waiting outside, he said, "This artifact holds the power to protect the jungle." His voice was determined, and his wolf brothers believed and supported him. They decided to protect the artifact together and restore peace to the jungle. While planning to protect the jungle with the artifact, Mowgli accidentally encountered explorers from the outside world. Hearing rumors about the jungle's mysteries and ancient artifacts, the explorers ventured deep into the jungle. Equipped with various tools and maps, Mowgli felt both wary and curious about them. The explorers were astonished to see Mowgli. They found it hard to believe he lived alone in the deep jungle, but his wild instincts convinced them of his existence. Cautiously, Mowgli talked to the explorers, trying to understand their purpose and intentions. One explorer, named John, spoke to Mowgli. "Hello, I'm John. We're here to explore the ancient artifacts and mysteries of the jungle. What are you doing here?" His voice was friendly and warm, and Mowgli sensed his sincerity. Mowgli explained to John that he was searching for the artifact to protect the jungle. He told the explorers about the ancient secrets and the importance of the artifact. Listening attentively, the explorers were impressed by Mowgli's courage and resolve. The explorers offered to help Mowgli. "We can help protect the jungle with you. With our knowledge and equipment, we can safeguard the artifact more effectively." Mowgli hesitated but sensed their sincerity and decided to accept their cooperation. Together, Mowgli and the explorers planned to protect the artifact. They searched for a safe place to store it and sought help from other jungle animals. Mowgli explained the jungle's laws and the animals' habits to the explorers, ensuring their safety in the jungle. Following Mowgli's guidance, the explorers set up defenses to protect the artifact. They created various traps and warning systems to safeguard the artifact from external threats. Working with them, Mowgli continued his efforts to maintain peace in the jungle. Mowgli returned to the ancient temple deep within the jungle to understand the power of the artifact he had discovered in the cave. The temple was located in the heart of the jungle, surrounded by colossal trees. It was a sacred place untouched by humans for centuries. Mowgli placed the artifact on the altar at the temple's center and began to analyze its power. The artifact was made of translucent crystal, with a subtle light flickering within it. The light moved as if alive, flowing along the surface of the artifact. Holding the artifact, Mowgli felt the light flow through his fingers. He realized that the powerful energy of the artifact was coursing through his body. Mowgli concentrated on understanding the artifact's power. Recalling the knowledge from the ancient murals, he explored how to use the artifact. The artifact had the power to harmonize with the jungle's nature, allowing it to protect the jungle. Mowgli figured out how to use the artifact to maintain the jungle's balance and shield it from external threats. Using the artifact's power required a calm mind and harmony with nature. Mowgli kept his mind serene, learning to sense and control the artifact's energy. He amplified the jungle's energy through the artifact, creating a protective barrier. The calmer his mind, the stronger the artifact's power became. Mowgli began using the artifact to solve various problems in the jungle. He found missing animals, restored order, and balanced nature. The artifact's power was a great help, enabling him to fulfill his role as the jungle's guardian. Despite using the artifact, Mowgli always respected its power, striving not to misuse it. He understood the artifact's immense strength and that misusing it could lead to disaster. He used the artifact's power cautiously, striving to maintain the balance of the jungle and nature. As Mowgli used the artifact to solve the jungle's issues, he began forming alliances with other jungle animals. He not only protected the jungle with the artifact's power, but also encouraged all creatures to collaborate for a better environment. Mowgli first sought out his old friends Baloo and Bagheera. They agreed to help him after hearing his plan. "Mowgli, we're always on your side. Together, we can protect the jungle," Baloo said. Bagheera agreed and taught Mowgli ancient wisdom and techniques. Mowgli and his allies also reached out to other jungle animals for assistance. They worked together to maintain the jungle's peace. First, Mowgli visited the troop of monkeys living high in the trees. The monkeys could quickly relay information about events in the jungle. Mowgli spoke to their leader, King Louie. "King Louie, we need your help to protect the jungle. Your network can be a great asset." After a moment of thought, King Louie agreed. "All right, Mowgli. Let's use our information network to protect the jungle." Next, Mowgli approached the crocodile tribe in the jungle's rivers. They could guard the waterways and protect the jungle from external threats. The crocodile leader, Crocodile, was impressed by Mowgli's courage and resolve. "Mowgli, we're moved by your bravery and determination. We'll guard the rivers and fight for the jungle's safety." Mowgli formed a strong alliance with all the jungle animals. They used the artifact's power to maintain the jungle's balance and developed strategies to protect it from external threats. Each animal played its role, contributing their strength. Their cooperation made the jungle stronger and safer. While forming alliances and solving jungle problems with the artifact, Mowgli realized that the threat he faced was not just natural disasters or external invaders. The true menace to the jungle was an ancient demon that had been hidden for ages. One night, Mowgli dreamt while sleeping in the cave. In his dream, he fought a colossal demon with burning red eyes and a shadowy body that moved through the darkness. Mowgli sensed the demon's powerful force threatening to destroy the jungle. Awakening from the dream, Mowgli was drenched in sweat, and his heart was heavy. The next day, Mowgli shared his dream with Baloo and Bagheera. Deep in thought, Baloo said, "Mowgli, that dream might be more than just a dream. According to ancient legends, a powerful demon is sealed in the jungle. This demon has always sought to reclaim its power and destroy the jungle's peace." Determined, Mowgli said, "Then we must find and ensure the demon remains sealed. If it awakens, the jungle will be in grave danger." Bagheera agreed and decided to collaborate with other wise animals in the jungle to find ancient records. Mowgli and his allies explored the jungle, searching for clues about the ancient demon. They examined old caves, temples, and murals to gather information about the demon's identity and sealing. They discovered the demon's name was Azag, a powerful entity that once sought to rule the jungle and had been sealed by ancient guardians centuries ago. Mowgli found methods in ancient records to maintain Azag's seal using the artifact's power. He needed to amplify the artifact's energy to suppress Azag's power and prevent it from awakening. Mowgli practiced meditation and training to keep his mind calm and harmonize with nature, maximizing the artifact's power. Mowgli and his allies set out to find Azag's seal location, a sacred temple deep in the jungle. The temple, covered in giant trees and vines, required solving various traps and puzzles to reach. Collaborating, Mowgli and his allies overcame all obstacles and finally reached the temple. At the temple's center was a grand altar with a stone inscribed with Azag's seal. Mowgli placed the artifact on the altar and used its power to strengthen the seal. Light emanated from his hands, flowing through the altar into Azag's seal. Keeping his mind serene, Mowgli amplified the artifact's power. The temple filled with light as Azag's seal was reinforced. Mowgli sighed in relief and told his allies, "We did it. Azag is sealed again. Now we can protect the jungle." His voice was filled with confidence and resolve. Although Mowgli and his allies strengthened Azag's seal, they still felt the demon's presence throughout the jungle. They knew Azag was not completely gone and could awaken at any moment. Thus, they decided to prepare for the final battle. First, Mowgli explained the battle plan to his allies. He emphasized the need for all jungle animals to cooperate, each playing their part. "We can only defeat Azag if we all unite. Every animal must fight together." Baloo and Bagheera gathered the jungle animals for training. Baloo taught them ancient combat techniques and strategies, understanding each animal's strengths to maximize their potential. "We must fight as one. Let's use our strengths and teamwork." Bagheera trained the animals in agility and wisdom, teaching them to move quickly and accurately, dodge attacks, and strike back. We will not retreat in our fight against Azag. Trust in our wisdom and courage. Mowgli patrolled the jungle with the animals, setting up defensive measures where Azag's presence was strongest. They built traps and warning systems throughout the jungle to prepare for Azag's possible return. Mowgli explained each animal's role, ensuring they understood their responsibilities. The animals, guided by Mowgli, took their positions. The monkeys watched from high trees, their keen eyesight monitoring Azag's movements. The crocodiles guarded the rivers and lakes, ready to block any threats from the water. Lions stood at the jungle's center, displaying strength and courage at the forefront of the battle. Mowgli coordinated the animals' cooperation, reinforcing their resolve. He encouraged them to recognize each other's strengths and work together. We must trust each other and fight together. Believe in our strength and courage. One night, Mowgli and his allies gathered at the jungle's center, finalizing preparations and reaffirming their resolve. Holding the artifact high, Mowgli declared, "This artifact is our hope. With its power, we will defeat Azag and restore peace to the jungle." The animals listened to Mowgli, reinforcing their resolve and remembering their roles. They looked into each other's eyes, confirming their strength and courage. Mowgli believed in the power of his allies, and their determination grew stronger. Mowgli and his allies prepared for the final battle, their resolve unyielding. They vowed never to retreat in their fight against Azag and were determined to protect the jungle's peace to the end. Their eyes shone with strong determination and courage. A few days after Mowgli and his allies prepared for the final battle, a strange atmosphere began to permeate the jungle. The sky suddenly darkened, and the air grew heavy and ominous. The animals sensed the tension and began to look around warily. Holding the artifact, Mowgli completed the preparations for battle with his allies. That night, Azag's aura intensified deep within the jungle. Sensing it through the artifact, Mowgli warned the animals, "Everyone, be careful. Azag is starting to move." His voice was firm, and the animals moved to their positions as instructed. Mowgli and his allies headed towards the heart of the jungle. As they approached the temple containing Azag's seal, they readied themselves with tense hearts. When they arrived, Azag's aura had grown stronger. A sinister red light emanated from the temple entrance, making the surrounding trees and plants sway as if alive. At that moment, Azag's shadow appeared at the temple entrance. His massive body seemed even larger in the darkness, and his eyes glowed with a fiery red light. Slowly revealing himself, Azag radiated powerful energy. His voice was deep and resonated through the jungle. "Do you think you can stop me?" Mowgli, undeterred by Azag's threat, steeled his resolve with his allies. Raising the artifact high, he shouted at Azag, "We will protect the jungle. We will end your evil deeds." His voice was strong and confident. Azag laughed and slashed his enormous claws. The impact destroyed nearby trees and rocks, throwing the jungle into chaos. Mowgli and his allies moved swiftly to dodge the attacks, watching Azag's movements closely to find his weakness. The first clash was intense and chaotic. Mowgli and his allies fought against Azag's powerful strength, trying to find his weak point. The monkeys, perched in the trees, observed Azag's movements and relayed information to Mowgli and the others. The crocodiles tried to weaken Azag's energy with water from the river. The lions dodged Azag's claws, targeting his legs. Mowgli maximized the artifact's power, creating a protective barrier to fend off Azag's attacks and shield his allies. However, Azag's power was overwhelming, and the battle grew increasingly difficult. Mowgli focused on maintaining his calm to control the artifact's energy. With the help of Baloo and Bagheera, Mowgli analyzed Azag's movements. They discovered a weakness in Azag's right shoulder, where an ancient seal was inscribed, capable of weakening Azag's power. Mowgli resolved to target this weak spot. Explaining the plan to his allies, Mowgli said, "We need to attack Azag's right shoulder. That's his weak point. Let's work together and bring him down." His voice was filled with determination, and his allies agreed. Working in unison, Mowgli and his allies began targeting Azag's right shoulder. The monkeys threw stones from the trees to distract Azag. The crocodiles weakened his energy with bursts of water. The lions attacked his legs to limit his movement. Mowgli focused the artifact's light, aiming a powerful beam at Azag's right shoulder. Azag roared in pain and fell as light emanated from his right shoulder, weakening his energy. Seizing the moment, Mowgli and his allies launched their final assault, focusing on Azag's weak spot to completely seal his power. After the first clash, Mowgli and his allies needed to regroup and strategize to eliminate Azag's threat entirely. Though the battle was fierce, they successfully weakened Azag's power. Now, they had to learn stronger combat techniques and find a way to defeat Azag completely. Baloo and Bagheera decided to teach Mowgli and the allies ancient wisdom and battle techniques. They led them to an ancient training ground deep in the jungle, a place where jungle guardians of old trained, ideal for learning various combat skills and strategies. Baloo began by teaching ancient wisdom. He explained to Mowgli and the allies the importance of harmony with nature and understanding the jungle's laws. Harmony with nature gives us the strength to fight Azag. We are all connected to every living thing in the jungle. Through this connection, we can defeat Azag. Baloo's voice was deep and assured. Baloo taught Mowgli and the allies meditation and breathing techniques. They learned to absorb nature's energy and strengthen their abilities through it. Holding the artifact, Mowgli meditated, practicing integrating its energy into his body and mind. The calmer his mind, the stronger the artifact's power became. Bagheera taught ancient combat techniques, emphasizing agility and wisdom to dodge attacks and strike back. In battle, it's not just about strength. Using wisdom and strategy to outsmart the enemy is key. We will exploit Azag's weaknesses and weaken his power. Bagheera's eyes shone with determination. Demonstrating various combat techniques, Bagheera had Mowgli and the allies practice. They learned to move quickly and accurately, find the enemy's weaknesses, and collaborate effectively. Under Bagheera's guidance, Mowgli and the allies honed their combat skills. Through Baloo and Bagheera's teachings, Mowgli enhanced his abilities. He mastered controlling the artifact's power and amplified his energy through harmony with nature. His mind grew calmer, and his body stronger. Mowgli was now ready for the final battle with Azag. Mowgli and his allies sharpened their combat skills under Baloo and Bagheera's guidance, strengthening their resolve. They understood each other's strengths and found ways to collaborate to defeat Azag. Their teamwork became stronger, giving them confidence in their victory. Despite improving his abilities through Baloo and Bagheera's teachings, Mowgli realized he needed even greater strength for the final battle against Azag. He decided to understand Shere Khan's power through his pelt and use it to fight Azag. Mowgli brought Shere Khan's pelt to an ancient ritual site deep in the jungle, a sacred place where powerful energy flowed. Here, Mowgli planned to explore Shere Khan's legacy and integrate his power through a special ritual. The ritual began at night under the moonlight, casting a serene glow over the jungle. Mowgli placed Shere Khan's pelt on the altar and held the artifact. Baloo, Bagheera, and other allies surrounded him, participating in the ritual. Taking a deep breath, Mowgli calmed his mind. Concentrating on the powerful energy emanating from Shere Khan's pelt, he began to integrate it into his body and mind. Light shone from his fingertips, enveloping the pelt. Through this light, Mowgli started absorbing Shere Khan's power. The pelt glowed brighter, and the light enveloped Mowgli's body. His eyes shone with determination and certainty. Understanding Shere Khan's power, Mowgli gained confidence in his ability to fight Azag. His body grew stronger with powerful energy, and his mind became resolute. Through Shere Khan's pelt, Mowgli inherited his courage and determination. Making Shere Khan's powerful strength his own, Mowgli gained the power needed to win against Azag. His allies sensed his transformation, strengthening their belief and support. After the ritual, Mowgli draped Shere Khan's pelt over his shoulders and addressed his allies. Now we're ready for the final battle with Azag. We've become stronger through Shere Khan's power. His voice was strong and confident. The allies listened, reaffirming their roles and strengthening their resolve. Having inherited Shere Khan's power, Mowgli resolved to unite all the animals of the jungle for the final battle against Azag. He traveled through the jungle, meeting various animals and earning their support. His first destination was the monkeys living high among the jungle trees. Mowgli met King Louie among the trees. King Louie, a wise leader, controlled the jungle's information network. Mowgli approached him and said, "King Louie, we all need to join forces to fight Azag. We need your intelligence network and the cooperation of the animals." After considering Mowgli's determination, King Louie agreed, moved by his resolve. "All right, Mowgli. We will stand with you." After gaining King Louie's support, Mowgli followed the river to find the crocodile tribe. Their leader, Crocodile, served as a guardian of the jungle. Mowgli said to Crocodile, "Crocodile, we need your help to protect the jungle. Your strength and ability to guard the river will be invaluable." Crocodile agreed and decided to lead his allies in cooperation. Mowgli continued traveling through the jungle, seeking other animals. He approached the Pride of Lions and requested their help from their king, Leo. Leo, impressed by Mowgli's determination and courage, accepted his request. "Mowgli, we will fight alongside you. With our strength and bravery, we will defeat Azag." Mowgli thanked Leo, feeling his coalition growing stronger. Mowgli also sought out the elephant herd living in a quiet part of the jungle. Their leader, Hathi, was wise and powerful. Mowgli approached Hathi and said, "Hathi, we need your wisdom and strength to fight Azag. Please join us to protect the jungle's peace." Hathi accepted his request, and his herd joined Mowgli's alliance. All the jungle animals gathered under Mowgli's leadership. They prepared for the final battle, each animal ready to perform its role. Standing before them, Mowgli said, "We will fight as one. Through our strength and courage, we will restore peace to the jungle." His voice was strong and confident, and the animals trusted and cooperated with each other under his resolve. Mowgli united all the animals of the jungle, reinforcing their determination. They resolved to fight together and acknowledged Mowgli as their leader. Accepting their support, Mowgli felt empowered to face Azag in battle, his eyes shining with strong determination and courage. Mowgli and his allied forces gathered in the jungle, preparing for the final battle against Azag. The ancient temple at the jungle's center became the hub for their preparations. Surrounded by towering trees, the temple felt like the jungle's guardian. Mowgli began strategizing with the animals. He assigned roles to each group. Mowgli tasked King Louie and the monkeys with reconnaissance and intelligence gathering. "King Louie, you and the monkeys will watch Azag's movements from the trees and provide crucial information." King Louie nodded, leading his monkeys to monitor all directions and relay vital data to Mowgli. The crocodiles guarded the rivers and lakes, setting up water-based defenses. Crocodile and his tribe controlled the river's flow and created barriers to hinder enemy movement. "We will guard the river and prevent Azag from approaching through the water," Crocodile's deep, confident voice resonated. His tribe positioned themselves at strategic points along the river, ready for action. Leo and the lion pride took the front line of the battle at the jungle's center. Leo addressed his pride, "We will fight alongside Mowgli. With our bravery and strength, we will protect the jungle." The lions followed their king, preparing for battle with determination. They stood ready to counter Azag's powerful attacks with their strength and agility. The elephant herd fortified the jungle's defenses. Hathi told his herd, "We will use our strength and wisdom to protect the jungle. Our defenses will stop Azag's attacks." The elephants used their massive size and power to build strong barriers, securing key points in the jungle. After confirming that each group had completed their preparations, Mowgli reviewed the battle plan once more with the artifact in hand. He reminded the animals of their roles, reinforcing their resolve. "We will fight as one. With our strength and courage, we will defeat Azag and restore peace to the jungle." Mowgli collaborated with Baloo and Bagheera to finalize strategies for the final battle. They analyzed Azag's weaknesses and discussed various tactics to defeat him. Baloo said, "We must focus our attacks on Azag's weak points. By weakening his power and working together, we can bring him down." Bagheera agreed, offering additional strategies through his wisdom. Using the artifact, Mowgli sensed Azag's aura and predicted his movements. He prepared to create defensive barriers with the artifact's light to protect the animals. His mind was calm and resolute, his determination growing stronger. "We will not back down. Through our strength and courage, we will defeat Azag." As the day of the battle approached, Mowgli and his alliance completed their final preparations. They strengthened their resolve and awaited the battle's beginning. Mowgli addressed his allies, "We will fight together. Trust in our strength and courage, and we will protect the jungle's peace." His voice was strong and confident. At last, the day of the final battle dawned. The jungle was tense, and all the animals were ready at their positions. Mowgli stood at the temple's center, holding the artifact, and reinforced their determination with his allies. The jungle sky darkened, and an ominous aura spread. Azag's presence grew stronger, enveloping the entire jungle. Sensing the aura through the artifact, Mowgli warned the animals, "Everyone, get ready. Azag is approaching." At that moment, a giant shadow appeared at the temple entrance. Azag revealed his fiery eyes and sharp teeth as he emerged. His massive body loomed larger in the darkness, and his presence instilled fear in all living creatures in the jungle. Azag's deep, resonant voice boomed, "You cannot stop me. The jungle belongs to me." Mowgli, undaunted by Azag's threat, fortified his resolve with his allies. Raising the artifact high, he shouted at Azag, "We will protect the jungle. We will end your evil deeds." His voice was strong and full of confidence. The battle began. Azag slashed his enormous claws, starting his attack. His strikes were powerful and destructive, but Mowgli and his allies moved swiftly to evade them. The monkeys threw stones from the trees to distract Azag. The crocodiles weakened his aura by spraying water. The lions attacked his legs, restricting his movement. Mowgli maximized the artifact's power, creating protective barriers to fend off Azag's attacks and shield his allies. However, Azag's power was formidable, and the battle grew increasingly difficult. Mowgli focused on maintaining his calm to control the artifact's energy. The battle raged on. Mowgli and his allies cooperated to find Azag's weakness. They concentrated their attacks on the seal marking Azag's right shoulder. The monkeys threw stones to distract him. The crocodiles weakened his aura with water. The lions attacked his legs, limiting his movement. Using the artifact's power, Mowgli aimed a powerful beam of light at Azag's right shoulder. The light struck the seal, weakening Azag's aura. Azag roared in pain and fell. His aura weakened, and his movements slowed. Seizing the moment, Mowgli and his allies launched their final assault. They focused their attacks on Azag's weak point, aiming to seal his power completely. The monkeys distracted him from the trees, the crocodiles weakened his aura, and the lions attacked his legs. Finally, Mowgli maximized the artifact's power to strengthen Azag's seal. Light radiated from his hands, enveloping Azag's body and fully suppressing his power. Azag let out one last roar as his aura dissipated. His massive body collapsed to the ground, and the jungle fell silent once more. After Mowgli and his allies defeated Azag, the jungle returned to its tranquil state. Azag's enormous body lay sprawled on the ground, and his malevolent aura had completely dissipated. Peace once again enveloped the jungle, and all the animals were deeply moved by the courage and sacrifice shown by Mowgli and his allies. Holding the artifact, Mowgli felt the seal on Azag was fully strengthened. Though his body was exhausted from the battle, his heart was filled with the joy of victory. He looked around at the gathered animals and saw the reverence and respect in their eyes. Leo approached Mowgli slowly, gently patting his shoulder. "Mowgli, you were incredible. Thanks to you, the jungle has regained its peace." His voice was warm and sincere. Mowgli smiled and nodded at Leo's words. Baloo and Bagheera also came forward to congratulate Mowgli. Baloo wrapped his large arms around Mowgli in a tight hug. "Mowgli, I'm so proud of you. We all owe our lives to you." Bagheera nodded in agreement and said, "Indeed, Mowgli. Your courage and resolve gave us all strength." Mowgli listened to their words and expressed his gratitude. It was possible because of everyone's help. "We fought together as one, and it was our combined strength that defeated Azag." His voice was humble and filled with sincerity. All the animals gathered to celebrate their victory. The monkeys made joyful noises and danced in the trees, while the crocodiles splashed water in the river to express their happiness. The lions proudly roared, showcasing their strength and bravery, and the elephants celebrated their wisdom and determination. The entire jungle was filled with the joy of victory. Mowgli placed the artifact on the altar, feeling its light envelop the entire jungle. Through the artifact's power, he vowed to maintain the jungle's peace and protect it from future threats. Within him was a strong resolve and a sense of duty as the jungle's guardian. After the victory over Azag, Mowgli assumed the role of the new leader of the jungle. He was now recognized not just as a member of the wolf family, but as a leader encompassing the entire jungle. Mowgli resolved to establish new rules and systems to maintain peace and ensure all animals could live harmoniously. First, Mowgli formed a council for all the animals. He gathered representatives from each region of the jungle, organized the council, and listened to their opinions to solve the jungle's issues. The council met regularly to discuss the jungle's state and work together to resolve the problems faced by the animals in different regions. At the first council meeting, Mowgli addressed the animals. "We are all part of this jungle. To maintain its peace, we must cooperate and understand each other. I will listen to your opinions and strive to make our jungle a better place." His voice was earnest and resolute. Mowgli toured the jungle, speaking directly with the animals. He listened to their concerns, understood their problems, and worked to provide what they needed. He strengthened relationships with the diverse animals of the jungle, earning their trust. "Together, we can overcome any challenge," Mowgli said, instilling courage and hope in the animals. To maintain the jungle's peace, Mowgli established new rules. He created guidelines to ensure all animals respected and cooperated with each other. For example, hunting was limited to what was necessary, and protecting young and weak animals was emphasized. Through these rules, Mowgli aimed to maintain the jungle's balance and harmony. Mowgli also worked to protect the jungle's environment. He implemented sustainable resource management and devised strategies to preserve the jungle's ecosystem. He explained to the animals the importance of respecting nature and protecting their living environment. "Nature is our home. We must protect it and pass it on to future generations." Mowgli initiated various projects with the jungle's animals. They sought ways to use resources efficiently and protect the environment. Activities like conserving water, planting trees, and reducing waste were implemented to improve the jungle's environment. Mowgli's initiatives ensured the animals could live in a better habitat. Under Mowgli's leadership, the jungle became stronger and more peaceful. He led with trust, respecting the animals' opinions and working cooperatively. His determination and efforts inspired all the jungle's inhabitants, who followed his leadership and maintained the jungle's peace. While maintaining the jungle's peace, Mowgli decided to attempt reconciliation with the human world. He believed it was crucial to find a way for humans and animals to coexist, ensuring both the jungle's peace and the village's safety. His first goal was to visit Mesua again. One day, Mowgli and his wolf brothers made their way to the human village. Their steps were cautious, and Mowgli's heart was filled with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. Upon reaching the village, Mowgli found Mesua's house. She remained a respected figure in the village, and his visit brought her great joy. Mesua warmly welcomed Mowgli, saying, "Mowgli, you're back. I'm so glad you're safe." Her eyes were filled with joy and relief. Mowgli shared his experiences in the jungle and the battle with Azag. Mesua listened intently, moved by his courage and determination. Together, Mowgli and Mesua spoke to the villagers about peace in the jungle and the coexistence of humans and animals. At the village hall, he addressed the residents, "Everyone, I have lived in the jungle with the animals. We understand and respect each other. You too can live harmoniously with the jungle and nature." His voice was earnest and confident. At first, the villagers were skeptical of Mowgli's story, but his sincerity and passion gradually won them over. Mesua supported his words, urging the villagers to believe in Mowgli's tale. "Mowgli has learned much in the jungle. Let's listen to him. We can also live peacefully with the jungle." Mowgli and the villagers initiated various projects together. He suggested ways to use resources efficiently and protect the environment. Activities like conserving water, planting trees, and reducing waste were implemented to create a better environment for both the jungle and the village. He explained the importance of respecting nature and protecting the environment. "Nature is our home. We must protect it and pass it on to future generations." The villagers, inspired by Mowgli's efforts and determination, decided to cooperate with him. They followed his guidance in environmental protection activities, working to improve relations between the jungle and the village. They began to coexist with the jungle's animals, respecting each other's presence. Mowgli's efforts bore fruit. A new understanding and cooperation formed between the human village and the jungle, allowing the two worlds to coexist harmoniously. Mowgli discovered ways for humans and animals to live together, maintaining the jungle's peace. His endeavors brought significant change to both the jungle and the human world. Mowgli's story became a legend in both the jungle and the human world. He fulfilled his role as a bridge between the two worlds, becoming a figure remembered forever. His courage, determination, and love inspired everyone. Mowgli continued to strengthen relations between the jungle and the human village, tirelessly working to protect the jungle's peace and opening new possibilities through reconciliation with the human world. His efforts bore fruit, fostering true understanding and cooperation between the jungle and the village. Mowgli was deeply respected and loved by all the jungle's creatures. Under his leadership, the jungle flourished and enjoyed peace. The animals trusted and followed him, living in harmony according to his guidance. Mowgli always did his best for them, prioritizing their safety and happiness. One day, under the giant tree at the jungle's center, it was time to recount Mowgli's story. All the jungle's animals gathered there to commemorate Mowgli's adventures and courage. Baloo spoke first. "Mowgli has inspired us all. His courage and determination gave us great strength." His voice was deep and moving. Bagheera continued, "Mowgli was the true guardian of the jungle. He fought for all of us, and because of him, we now enjoy this peace." His eyes held sincere gratitude. The animals nodded, applauding to honor Mowgli's bravery and dedication. Mesua was also present, tears in her eyes as she spoke. "Mowgli is a hero to us all. He showed us that humans and animals can live together. We will never forget his love and dedication." Her voice trembled but was filled with deep gratitude and respect. Humbly accepting their praise, Mowgli spoke to them, "This was all possible because of everyone. We fought together and achieved this together. Our unity and cooperation brought peace to the jungle. We will continue to respect and help each other." His voice was strong and confident. Mowgli's story became a jungle legend. His name was passed down through generations, and his courage and love inspired all living beings. He was remembered as the true hero of the jungle, and his spirit lived on forever. Mowgli quietly meditated in the depths of the jungle, reflecting on his life. He felt proud of overcoming all challenges and trials and protecting the jungle's peace. He listened to the sounds of the jungle, savoring the joy of being one with nature. Mowgli's spirit lived on with every tree, river, and animal in the jungle. His story would be remembered forever, inspiring courage and love in all living beings, accompanying them throughout their lives. Thus began the legend of Mowgli. As the guardian of the jungle and a bridge between two worlds, he fulfilled his role. His story would be passed down forever in both the jungle and the human world.